1 year later, Leffen has been the story of Smash Ultimate. Yes, a Melee player. We know many in the Ultimate community have serious issues with his vocal opinions on this game, and that's perfectly understandable. But whether you like him or hate him, or have even switched between the two, there's no denying that he has captured our attention, giving us some of the best moments of the year.
Oh, and the change, that was genius, Pokemon Master!
And put a neat, satisfying arc on the first year of Smash Ultimate. There are, of course, many other things we could look back on that have shaped the year. We've had to learn what has turned out to be a very different game despite all the early talk of Smash 4 2 or Brawl 3. All sorts of characters have had a moment in the spotlight due to the high degree of balance and the explosiveness of the gameplay. High damage combos and brutal edge guard sequences are common, and just about every character has some kind of bullshit to defend themselves against your bullshit. Patches have given us Joker and removed Pichu, and we now know even more characters are on the way next year. At the same time, MKLeo has emerged as the first real champion and only god of Ultimate. With his Ike, Lucina, Wolf, Greninja, Marth, and the trademark Joker, Leo has cemented himself as the #1 player and built himself a proper mythology with the phrase Game 4 Leo drawing parallels to the Game 5-0 of old. Sure, it hasn't been all Leo. Tweak, Samsora, Nairo, and Zachary have had major victories of their own, but when Leo is there, he's the guy standing between you and the trophy. He may not dominate the results, but he controls the competition and he is unmatched in this regard. Leo's rise is even more significant in the context of his Smash 4 beginnings. The kid emerged from what was at one point a sorely overlooked region. While the US and Japan often control the headlines, it was Mexico that created the future champion. Out of the world's view, Leo and cousins Javi and Serge, who were highly talented players in their own right, would eventually push each other to levels that were impossible to ignore. Following Leo's discovery, they and many other Mexican players went on to become tournament stream title names and finally received huge opportunities to show the world their talents. Now in Smash Ultimate, a second Mexican player, Meister, has made a strong case for a top 10 spot in the rankings, and it's hard to imagine a timeline that would have given this region a fair shake without Leo leading the way.
Leo! No matter the character or the matchup, he is Mexican.
All of this, however, would simply set the stage for a real drama to unfold. And what does any truly compelling drama require? Well, a villain. Salem made an early impression on Smash Ultimate when he decided to beef with the entire Melee scene all at once. It didn't get to that immediately, of course. There was a back and forth between Salem and Leffen over Snake's viability, what could have been a heated but harmless moment in the end, but Salem expanded the discussion when he brought up his growing concerns over prominent Melee streamers quickly embracing the new game on release. His accusation was based on the assumption that Melee players were only using Ultimate for its visibility and would abandon its community within 6 months. He also took a shot at Melee's overall Smash skill, saying there's a reason they can barely scrape the surface of other Smash games. All of this, he said, was information he had gathered over years of research. The beefing eventually crossed the line for just about everyone when Salem reveled in the news of Melee's exclusion from EVO 2019, cementing him as a common enemy for many in the overall Smash community and beyond. His view on Melee players could hardly have proved more false. Not only did they stick around, but they made some moves too. Armada beat ZD, an early contender for Best Fox at the first Ultimate Summit. Wizrobe got top 8 at Smash and Splash, a tournament in which he also won Melee over Hungrybox. Plup got 17th at EVO, beating MVD and losing a very tight set against Proto Banham. Mango, well, he was at Summit at least, and he still streams Ultimate from time to time. But without a doubt, the Melee player who would defy Salem's expectations the most was the player who had set him off in the first place. Leffen had a difficult relationship with Smash Ultimate. After initially responding well to the gameplay changes from Smash 4 and finding an intellectually stimulating main in Pokemon Trainer, he soon became disillusioned by the game's shortcomings, in particular the poor quality of online play. It made it harder for him to practice and learn at a suitable speed, and he had plenty of ground to cover already on Smash 4 matchups and concepts. Yet despite continued complaints and a seemingly never-ending character crisis, Leffen accomplished more than perhaps most anticipated. Early wins over Wadi and Ling Ling, who had just defeated Esam, showed potential, so it was really no surprise that the possibility of a Salem-Leffen match captured everyone's imagination. After what seemed like several deliberate attempts by TOs and bracket seeders to win this publicity lottery, the match happened on August 10th in Chantilly, Virginia at Super Smash Con. Nearly 10 months after the saga began, Salem started Game 1 of the set with the character they had argued about, Snake, sporting the tag Research. Leffen struggled to maneuver around Snake's zoning early on. With every stock taken, the crowd popped off and TSM chants were clearly audible through the stream.
Ooh, I like that. Trying to blow the grenades to the other side with a neutral beam from Squirtle. Smart stuff from Leffen. Nice. I like the counterplay.
Just get him out of there.
On his final stock, and with a full stock deficit, Leffen mounted a gritty comeback. An Ivysaur up B combined with Rage to steal the opening game, and for the fans, the dream was suddenly real. Then, with Snake one hit away from certain death in Game 2, Salem was able to grind Leffen down with grenades and close out a Nikita edgeguard to even up the set. And for Game 3, Salem decided to switch to Hero.
Are we really seeing
No
the
way!
hero?
Wait, no way! Is this
character-
Salem sending him a message?
Oh, yeah, we forgot to talk about Hero. Counting Piranha Plant, Hero from Dragon Quest was the third downloadable fighter for Smash Ultimate. Leffen despised Hero. The character's design revolves almost entirely around RNG, which Leffen found antithetical to the very notion of competition. Salem, on the other end of the spectrum, embraced Hero's chaos. Their differences, embodied by this goofy-ass character, boil down to their entire concept of what this game we play should be. So of course Salem went Hero in Game 3. Leffen got out to an early lead and then immediately SD'd. Then Salem, with his back against the wall, started to rely heavily on RNG. He put Leffen to sleep to close out his second stock and they were dead even. Where Leffen could understandably have finally succumbed to tilt, his Ivysaur spiked Salem, forcing him to tech off the side of the stage and die to a follow-up up air.
It doesn't even matter that he takes. Leffen takes the set 2-1.
Salem's controller was thrown, and Leffen walked into a cheering crowd and out of sight. Smash Twitter exploded. Reddit exploded. On YouTube, the video of the set currently has around 600,000 views, more than several major grand finals, making it one of the most viewed sets of the year. And Salem himself responded well, at least at the time. He and Leffen shook hands, and he later said he was glad that the set happened. He would go on to get his salty run back against Melee, beating Armada with a dominant and disrespectful performance at main stage. But the scales tipped back in Melee's favor after Plup eliminated him at Big House. Meanwhile, though Leffen's troubles with Ultimate continued, he still wouldn't abandon the game. He would go on to add wins on Meister, Puppe, and Tweak to a pretty impressive resume while splitting his focus with Melee. Nearing the end of the year, Leffen got one more chance to show the Ultimate community just what he can do. On his home turf at DreamHack Winter in Sweden, Leffen tore through several of Europe's finest before facing off against Mr. R in Grand Finals. Mr. R's Crom, which has wins over ESAM and Nairo this year, went up 2-0 against Leffen's PT in the second set, with a 3-stock no less. Facing elimination, and after a week full of frustration and doubt about his future, Leffen picked the newest downloadable character, Terry, and somehow stunned Mr. R in Game 3.
And there's the rising down now! Call out of the century!
From that point on, his Pokemon trainer only had to carry the momentum. 2 more victories sealed out the reverse 3-0, and Leffen had finally won a large tournament over a top-level Smash 4 and Ultimate player. Melee had more than made its mark. While Leffen's future focus is expected to be back on Melee, it would clearly be unfair to say Melee players didn't care to learn Ultimate or accomplish anything meaningful in it. And that, among other things, was the first year of competitive Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. What were some of you guys' favorite moments or sets of the year, and what do you expect to see from year 2? Follow our channel on Twitch and let us know what you guys thought. We make this content out of passion for the game, and we love to share in that with other fans. So once again, until next time, come back anytime.